So Kindle Vella has failed. In this video, we're going to take a look at why. So Kindle Vella was a program that started back in 2021. Initially, it was only available to those self-publishers in the US. And unfortunately for loads of us, like myself in the UK, it never expanded to different countries. It almost felt like it was a bit of a trial run in the US, and then if it did well, it would expand to other countries. And the fact that it never did was quite telling. It was designed to be a place for readers to consume short-form content, and it almost worked a little bit like a Spotify or even a social media platform, where books that were highly engaged with, highly read, would become more visible. It would allow readers to follow their favourite authors, and the idea with Kindle Vella was to produce short-form content little and often. So the way that it differed is, instead of, say, publishing an 80,000 word book to Amazon, you could just publish a chapter at a time to Kindle Vella. It was designed for kind of rapid release of small pieces of content. So say if your chapters were 2,000 words each, you could release a chapter a week, gain a following, and then people could use their tokens to read your content. So that kind of raised a small flag with me when I first saw it announced. It was leaning into the token area rather than actually paying per read, or maybe even linking it to Prime. And this caused so many challenges, because you'd have to buy the tokens in order to be able to unlock those books or those chapters. But the tokens were worth different amounts for different people. It depends how many you bought at a time, when you bought them, all of those kind of things meant that tokens were worth different amounts of money. And as an author, you got 50% of the token's value. So say if someone used 100 tokens to read your content, you would then earn 50 tokens. But those tokens would be worth a varying amount. Some might be worth 2 cents, some might be worth 10 cents. You didn't really know until someone had read your book. But the reason that it started was because of the rise of short form content. There are websites out there like Wattpad, which are fantastic for publishers to gain a bit of a following, then drive people to the books on Amazon. And so what Amazon were trying to do was trying to ring fence the whole experience. They were trying to get people to read that short form content on Vella, find new authors, find works that they really appreciated, and then buy them on Amazon as well. And that's the way that a lot of these larger companies go. They try and own that whole consumer journey. And unfortunately for Amazon, it didn't work. One of the things that they tried to do at the beginning was incentivize authors for using Vella. So they would give bonuses out for people to publish on Kindle Vella, and that's one reason why I wanted to give it a go. But as I'm from the UK, I wasn't given the opportunity, but I know a lot of US authors that publish short stories or chapters on Vella and got bonuses. So those bonuses might be $100, $200. Some went a lot higher than that. But then in terms of what they were earning for their reads, it was nowhere near good enough for the majority of publishers. And that's because at the beginning, Vella seemed like it had a bit of a buzz around it. You know, Amazon were trying to get a load of authors on there. They were trying to drive readers to the content by giving out tokens. And so authors had an option of where to publish. They could just publish their book straight onto Amazon and then drive people there via Amazon ads, Facebook ads, TikTok, etc. Or they could publish on Vella and try and get money that way. But it seemed like the effort wasn't really worth it because the user base wasn't really there on Vella. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Vella had a fantastic opportunity to be an interesting little platform, but it almost seemed like it was kind of competing with itself. Because if you self-publish via Amazon KDP, you can enroll in KDP Select, where your book will then be available on Kindle Unlimited. And Kindle Unlimited is a fantastic platform, which is a monthly subscription fee where you can read a ton of books included in that subscription. So that already exists as a way for authors to be able to find new readers. And so I don't really think Amazon knew what it was trying to accomplish with this, other than Wattpad's out there doing a great job, and there are other short form sites out there also driving traffic, driving new potential consumers. And I think Amazon maybe wanted a piece of that pie. But it didn't work out, and Amazon eventually announced that on the 26th of February, they'll be winding down Kindle Vella. So they released this statement. And in here, they go into why they're winding down Kindle Vella. They say it was a difficult decision, but then essentially they go on to say that Kindle Vella hasn't caught on as we'd hoped. And that is basically the key reason that it's being shut down, is not enough authors were using it and not enough readers were partaking in it, buying tokens and reading content. If you're publishing on Vella, make sure to read this because it lets you know what's going to happen with your stories. If you're a reader on Vella, don't worry. your tokens are going to get gifted back to you in terms of a gift card balance, I think. So they're still keeping it within Amazon, but at least you'll have some money to spend. So there we go. Kindle Vella's closing this month, and I wanted to take a quick look at what I think went wrong with the platform. So one of the main issues with Vella, in my opinion, is it's leaning very, very heavily into that quick release schedule. Now, a lot of self-published authors lean into that because they want to churn out a lot of content, create a load of books to try and generate the most money possible. But in terms of the kind of quality on that, the more traditional authors out there would be taking a year, 2 years to craft a book. So most of those aren't really targeted towards this Kindle Vella experience. And I think it's more then around finding those new and up and coming authors. But that means that the quality on Vella might generally be a little lower. And as I mentioned, it kind of ended up competing with itself with Kindle Unlimited. It'd be really interesting to know if any of the Kindle Unlimited subscriptions went down. So if anyone's on here listening from Amazon, drop a comment down below and let us know. But I don't want this to come across like I'm attacking Kindle Vella. I think it was a really interesting idea, but it did have a bit of an identity crisis. I don't really think it knew what it wanted to be right from the start. Is it a platform for up and coming authors to be discovered? Was it a way for authors to earn more money? At the end of the day, Amazon chucked a load of money at it to try and encourage authors to publish on the platform, but the readers just weren't there. And I think that's because a lot of these more rapid release style of books, the readers of those books, especially in the romance genre, they tend to read that book in a day or two because generally they're quite easy to read, and those type of readers want to consume a lot of those books. Whereas on Vella, you read a chapter a week and you might have to wait for the next installment, almost kind of like a TV series. Whereas a lot of the consumers of this type of content would want to binge read a load of books. Instead, they're being told, oh, you need to pay for every single chapter and you need to wait a week for the next chapter. So there was an interesting kind of angle there, but it didn't really lean into what the consumer wanted. What I did like about it is it was very much leaning into the rise of the ebook. A lot less people nowadays are buying those print books. But for most of these authors, a lot of them are in Kindle Unlimited. So why would you spend extra money on Vella where you can just read it as part of your subscription you're probably already paying for on Kindle Unlimited? And you can read the whole book at once rather than reading a chapter a week. So overall, I think Amazon tried their best with it. I think there was potential with the platform, but I don't think that token mythology worked very well in this case. What I think would have maybe worked well is having it to be a completely free subscription service, maybe included with Prime. And then with that, then the authors got some of that Prime subscription fee back. Now, that would mean that, the authors aren't going to make much money, but what it would do is it would drive a ton of new readers to Vella. And I think what a lot of authors would want to do on Vella would be to be discovered there and then gain a following on Amazon where they can sell their full books. I think that's where Amazon didn't really kind of double down and go all in on that strategy. They were competing against themselves instead of kind of using this, self-published platform to find brand new authors. So that's my thoughts on Kindle Vella. If you published on the platform, let us know your experiences down below. And so whilst I didn't get to try out Vella for myself, I did look around on places like Reddit to see what other people thought of the platform. And here's a great example. So this person's saying, I have a book trending near the top on 2 categories. They've been on the front page, they're getting plenty of views and unlocks. So with that, you would think, right, they're raking in the money because they're probably within the top 1% of all the books on Kindle Vella. But then they say here how much money they've made. They've made 65 cents. So they got a $40 bonus for publishing on Kindle Vella. And then in terms of the money they made on top of that without the bonus, that was 65 cents from all of those unlocks and all those reads. So straight away that shows a problem because those bonuses aren't going to last forever. They're not viable for Amazon. They'll probably be making a loss on each of those bonuses that they give out. And so that's not the long-term strategy. The strategy would be for authors to be able to earn a good amount on Kindle Vella because then Amazon would be doing the same. But as this person showed, even if you're succeeding, you're not going to make that much money on Vella. And that is the main reason it failed. Because 1, if it's not worthwhile for the authors, they're going to stop publishing. And 2, for readers, there's other ways to read the books. There's ways to read them for free. And if you really like an author, you're going to want to buy the whole book anyway. So whilst it was an interesting platform idea, Unfortunately, Kindle Vella has now come to an end. Will Amazon do something similar in the future? I don't think anytime soon, but I do think there's a gap in the market there for discovering new and upcoming authors. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Kindle Vella. I would have loved to have given it a try myself, but apart from those author bonuses, it looks like I didn't really miss out that much. I want to know your thoughts on Kindle Vella. Drop them down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. All right, thanks for checking this out. I'll see you in the next one.